Zalete, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. In a recent speech, prominent French politician Jean-Luc Mélenchon launched a fierce critique against European foreign policy, focusing heavily on France's historic and ongoing relationship with Ivory Coast. Let's break down exactly what Mélenchon claimed, who he targeted, and how he views the political situation. Mélenchon started his argument by attacking what he calls a double standard by Western leaders. According to Mélenchon, European leaders only celebrate Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara as a model democrat for only cynical reasons because Ouattara agreed to act as Europeans' prison guard by blocking migration flows. Because of this agreement, he claims that European Union flooded Ouattara's regime with massive amounts of money and equipment. He directly accused Europe of funding and arming a system that, in his words, is now being used to harm its own citizens over there. He insists that French and European citizens have a right to demand accountability for where this money went. Turning his attention to current events, he pointedly criticized Ouattara's current fourth presidential term. He called the situation completely anti-constitutional.
From Europe, he was there to monitor that the migratory flows did not exit and head towards Europe. So he was showered with money and weapons, which he is now using in the way you know. Therefore, when you hear things about your rebellious comrades, when you hear things about what is happening over there, remember, all of you, that what is at stake are people who have been funded, armed by the European Union, by ourselves, and who today are killing their compatriots. And so we are also entitled to demand accountability. So since I am here and asking for accountability, I would gladly ask my country, seeing what is happening in Côte d'Ivoire. Why am I telling you this? Because from now on, the rebellious movement is constantly being solicited.
You must say something about this. You must say something about that.
And we understand it, and I am doing my duty as quickly as I can while trying to capture your attention so that you understand why you are concerned. Africa has, for a part of its population, a language in common with us, and a not very successful history, but a shared history. So, in one way or another, we are concerned with what is happening there. And then this shared history means that migratory flows have occurred and are still occurring, creating a new French population made up of many dual nationals. As a result, the issues in Côte d'Ivoire captivate a part of our people.
I did say of our people.
And when you are binational, contrary to what some believe, you don't have two allegiances. You have two loves. It's not the same. And if you have two loves, well, you are always forced to choose this, choose that. Do you do this or do you do that? It's complicated. You know, all those who, like me, come from the Maghreb know this. When we go to the Bled, we are French. When we come back here, we are Arab. There you go.
So, as a result, we have to position ourselves and ask ourselves, but what exactly am I? Huh? Well, I am all of that. There you go.
So with Côte d'Ivoire, the ties are particularly close because for a whole period, there was a deep connection between Laurent Gbagbo's Ivorian Popular Front and the left-wing forces in France.
And then this connection was lost as the Socialist Party that maintained it, well, dispersed into it and ended up being interested in nothing and no one.
So as the current government was slow to be renewed through elections due to the armed struggles in that country, well, France went to remove the president who was there beyond his mandate, basically, if you will, like currently Zelensky, who is beyond his mandate since he is no longer the president of Ukraine. His term has ended, but he is still treated as a president. That one, they are not going to remove from his palace, but Gbagbo, yes, and it was the French army that went to remove him from the bunker inside the presidential palace of Côte d'Ivoire. So we have a huge responsibility. All this, we were told now, here is freedom returned. We are going to have elections, do them as you can, it's not our concern. And we will finally be able to elect someone reasonable and responsible, a former senior official of international organizations, Mr. Alassane Ouattara, who happened to be, what an opportunity, a personal friend of Mr. Sarkozy, which facilitated the connections. So with such a sponsor and under such conditions, he was elected. And a second time, and even a third, in circumstances that in the end seemed a bit heavy to everyone, especially because in the meantime, Laurent Gbagbo had been sent to prison and stayed there for something like 5 or 6 years before being told, but sir, in the end, we have nothing to reproach you for that falls under our court. So he came out and returned to Côte d'Ivoire. And now there has been an election, the fourth one, which is absolutely unconstitutional, of the same Mr. Alassane Ouattara, who achieved an electoral performance before the election that must be acknowledged, namely eliminating all his competitors by prohibiting them from being candidates. That way, the problem was solved. Well, we, the French, are responsible for part of this situation, and we are attentive to what is happening there.
Because the people of Côte d'Ivoire,
the Ivorians are with us in a special bond of affection, friendship, and shared life. Right? No?
We even had a deputy who came from there and who is right in front of me, who is Rachel Keke, right? You're quite happy that she's a French deputy, aren't you? So there you go. And then Cameroon, well, that's a total disaster. I keep on.
Malishon argued that Ouattara achieved this political victory not through fair democracy, but by eliminating all of his real competition. He claimed the regime simply banned major opposition rivals from being candidates before the election even started, effectively settling the problem before a single vote was cast. To explain how Ivory Coast got to this point, Malishon reminded his audience of France's direct military intervention in the past, that France bears an immense responsibility because the French military physically went into Abidjan, breached the bunker of the former president, Laurent Gbagbo, and dragged him out of power. Gbagbo's party historically had deep brotherly ties to the political left in France, but mainstream French socialists eventually abandoned them. He claimed that France removed Gbagbo to install Ouattara, who happened to be a close personal friend of then French President Nicolas Sarkozy, to make deals easier. He even compared the situation to Ukraine, pointing out that while the West treats Volodymyr Zelensky with absolute respect, even past his official electoral mandate, because the war, a completely different aggressive standard, was used against Gbagbo in Africa. Finally, he addressed the many French citizens in the room who have family roots in Africa. He strongly defended the national identity against right-wing critics. He argued that having dual citizenship doesn't mean you have divided loyalties or that you are a rebel. Instead, he said it simply means a person has two lives. This man is saying a lot of things. And as we have all listened to the speech that he made, what are your thoughts about what he has said concerning the president of Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, and how people have decided for several years to continue to remain in the soil? Because no matter what you do, they just don't want to leave Africa. And they always have people around to do their bid. But why should Africa, if what he's saying is true, why should African leaders, even in this 21st century, who claim they are sovereign people, they are independent, and they are blaming their past and then their forefathers, and they believe that we are civilized, still allow Europe that is struggling to be on its feet without the United States of America to still manipulate us and control us in this modern world. You see, when it comes to what is happening to us in Africa, it's like the African is never ready to be free. And at the end of the day, we get leaders who are still making things very easy for us to be colonized. Because like one time, Paul Kagame said, because of their selfish interests, we allow ourselves to be manipulated. Life is so difficult for us because of the kind of people we have as leaders. Like the chairperson of ECOWAS, Julius Maada Bio, one time said, they protect borders instead of protecting us, the people. And the man is talking about the double standard when it comes to democracy. What is democracy? Now, it's clear that whenever we see the Europeans praising an African leader of being a democratic leader, it means that person serves their interest. That ends it. As long as you continue to serve the interests of them, you're a democratic leader. But the moment you decide to do something for your people, like the First Lady of Sierra Leone said, the big boss will show up. And that is exactly what we are seeing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, because people have the notion that the resources in our continent belong to them, and we have to suffer for them to enjoy. And who is making things so easy for them? It's the same people who are leading us, and the people who said they are thinking about the African and they are looking for the African solution to the African problem. And if truly we are looking for that for ourselves, I think we should follow the model of AES. And we should be uniting with them to fight to liberate the African. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Europe and in France.